This is the Just Steph Show, and I'm your host, Steph Palermo, your Italian Boston girl who's an empath, healer, and all-around seeker of wisdom. Tune in weekly for advice on how to live your best life at work, home, or play so you can feel groovy every day. Hey, this is Steph Palermo, and it's the Just Steph Show. Everybody has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. We are second lifers, empty nesters, newly single, and those starting over. Age 3, your healthy, happy, hip years are just beginning. I'm so thrilled to be here today with my good friend, Jackie Zuckerman. Delori now.
I know, right?
Yay! You have a new last name. That's exciting.
I know. I didn't change it over yet.
Yeah, okay. That's all right. Well, you know, sometimes for business is a little bit easier, right?
Yeah, true.
So before we get into our talk, I just want to tell everybody, you know, if you want to get in touch with me to help you feel groovy through the holidays and into the New Year's, just get on juststeph.com and all my stuff is there. I have 12 hours to feel groovy, up close and personal. I'm launching a course. We've got a feel groovy retreat. All of it's coming. It's all there. And but the one-on-ones are right there. I'm ready to help everybody through the holidays and New Year's. So today I'm live with CEO of Jay-Z Social Enterprises, the one and only Jackie Zuckerman Delori. Hey, Jackie, how are you?
Steph. Good. How are you? So happy to be here.
I know. I'm so excited to be talking to you. You know, we've talked before on podcasts, and I'm thrilled to have you here on my podcast. You know, it's so funny because for me, you know, we just went through a bunch of technical issues. You know, I was in the radio studio for so long, and I had somebody behind the glass just telling me, "You're on."
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing, so now I'm doing all this myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just not work. You know, this is not good. I got to get back.
You're figuring it out. It's all a learning process.
It is, and I think, you know what, and all it does is makes me want to get back on the radio again. So
I get that. I do get that.
I'm going back on. I'll be back on the radio. I'm just trying to work on the other parts of my business.
No, but this is amazing. I think it's so awesome that you're expanding to this. It's so great.
Yeah. I'm not, you know, I love being on the radio. I think it's just fun for me. So, and they do all the stuff. They put all the editing in there, and I don't have to.
Right, exactly. You do your best favorite part. That's the best.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is. So anyway, but you've got so much going on. I mean, you're stirring a lot of pots.
A lot of pots. Yeah.
A lot of pots. I know, but you kind of have to be that way with being an entrepreneur, right?
True. That is a good point. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, you know, it says in your bio, from bedroom closet to media mogul. So tell me about that. What's the journey? Tell me tell me about it.
The journey basically started in my guest room closet. I started my podcast 5 years ago in January. And I was interviewing just, you know, small businesses and startups that wanted to share their latest ventures, and some film producers. Cause before that I was working at a startup radio station in Woburn. So that's how I kind of got my feet wet.
Right.
But they were making money. So I was like, well, I just moved from New York. Sorry, there's banging going on, construction going on.
You know, like technology, construction. This is real life.
We make do. It's fine.
It's real life.
So I started in Woburn at a startup radio station, and it paid no money. And I was like, I need to make a living. I just moved from New York. How am I gonna make a living? So I went to the drawing board, watched some YouTube videos, which is why I think it's so amazing that you're really blowing up your YouTube channel, because YouTube is so valuable. Right. It's how I built my podcast system. So I built it, and it was, you know, a closet is pretty soundproof. So I started interviewing people through my closet, and I made like more of a marketing tactic than just an interview. So like my guests, you know, you've been on, like you come on, it's like I do a blog write-up, I do social media promotion. So it's more than just an interview.
Right.
So that's basically how I started. And then the guests on my show really got good exposure from it, and they started to hire me for more like monthly packages for social media marketing, for PR services and events. And my business really grew from that. Right. So that's why we say from the bedroom mogul to, you know, now being on my own and growing, but I still have my podcast in my closet for the record.
Right.
So that's like what I'm doing right now. Yes.
Right. Well, I have to say, you know, being an entrepreneur myself, there's pros and cons to it, right? Don't you think?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm here, I'm in my workout clothes, here on a pony, all of that stuff. But sometimes, you can get kind of crazy. So how do you manage your time? Because that's where I have a hard time, because, everybody just expects me to be available because I'm not going to an office.
It's so, so true. And I feel like figuring out balance and structure, plus you're a mom. I'm not even a mom yet, so I can't even imagine, I'm not ready for that yet. That's all I got to say.
Right.
But I give you a lot of credit.
Right.
So I always create some kind of morning routine where I really try to shut off my phone at least till 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, where I'll take my dog out. I'll meditate a little bit. I'll do some affirmations. I'll do that every morning before I get on my phone.
Right.
And I feel like that gets me started.
Right.
And then I usually check my emails. I usually don't because I adore you, I'm on at 10 a.m., but I usually try not to do anything before 11:30, 12 o'clock, because I like having my mornings to just catch up on my emails and do all of that.
Right.
So just know that I love you, because I really try not to go on really early. But that's really what keeps me structured, because I feel like if I open the door at 10 a.m., I'm working sometimes till 10 o'clock at night. It's not consistent, but I'm on and off working till 10 o'clock at night. Right. So I just learned a way to this is the times that work for me. And I think it's just creating balance of what's fair, so.
I find this amazing about you helping your brother's business. I guess you come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So my brother owns an event company and an event space in Westchester, New York, where I grew up. And he does everything from corporate events to bar and bat mitzvahs, even weddings, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, he literally owns this warehouse and he transforms it over into incredible events.
Right.
And then he also made it into a Dave and Buster's type of setting. So there's bowling, there's rock climbing.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's super cool. So when he started out, he was just a DJ company, and I was 13, I don't know, I was 12, 13, and I was just going around passing business cards on his behalf because I was having a bat mitzvah. So all my friends were being bat mitzvah, and I'm like, here's a DJ, here's an MC. So I think that's where my entrepreneurship really stemmed from, because I lived with my brother for a while. My brother's really been a huge mentor to me, him and his wife. So that was a really great experience. I got a lot of event experience from working with him in such a big setting. So
I love it. Yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, how do you, I heard that you are, meditating in the morning and doing affirmations. And I find from all the entrepreneurs that I sort of connect with, and myself included, they're doing the same thing. A lot, because you have to, because you don't have anybody saying, you got this.
Right.
You don't have a boss saying, hey, you're doing a great job on this. Keep going. Or this is where I see your talents. You have to, you're your own motivator.
You have to drive your own train. Right. Exactly.
Right. So what I wanted to ask you too is, now with all that, do you practice self-care? What do you do? What's your routine?
So, it's so funny. I was so bad about self-care. And I found when I started to do self-care that my business was better, if that makes any sense. You probably understand this better than I do, because you've been being your own business owner for a little while longer than I have. But I started really creating a workout routine in the mornings. And I also now treat myself once a month to get a facial and get my nails done and get my hair. People don't realize the value of when you feel good, you attract good. Right. So that's what I'm starting to do. Even if it's not once a month, once every other month, I try to really do more of that. Right. But at least working out, you even said it on my show, it is so important. It clears your endorphins. I try to do it at least 3 days a week. Right.
Yeah, no, working out is very important. I think it's more important. It's not really even about the weight.
It's so true.
It's really about a good health. And when you take care of yourself, you feel better. Even just the fact that you've given yourself that, whatever that is, you feel better about it, whether sometimes it's a little retail therapy,
right? Exactly.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
So here's another question for you. As a newlywed, how do you devote time to your husband, family, friends, and still maintain a successful business?
That's a very good question, because my husband, as you know him very well, he's very busy too. He has like 3 or 4 jobs. So what we're starting to do is create a designated date night once a week.
Right.
Because I feel like you have to make that time.
Right.
Otherwise the world keeps going and you grow apart, and you don't want that to happen. So him and I are just like literally like, we need to dedicate this time at least. Like he's really good about coming home for dinner, and I always try to be home for dinner too. So we try to at least do that at least 4 times a week together.
Right.
So.
Right.
But we're also trying to be realistic, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, I will tell you that, you know, the big thing is sitting down to dinner together is a big deal. And even more so when you have kids.
Right. I'm sure that's true. Yeah,
you need it. You need that family time. Families don't have that because of the, you know, everybody's all scheduled out, and you really do need to sit. You know, I'm traditional Italian girl. So, you know, my son and I only have one son at home, and we sat down last night, prayed before dinner, sat down, ate, you know, together. Even, you know, I got some takeout, you know what I mean?
It doesn't matter. It's so true. It's so true.
So yeah, you need to.
I was saying, I just feel like the world will keep going. Like you have to make time for the people you care about, and every day on some level.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think like from one point that like we're lucky is we both kind of make our own schedules. So like during the day we check in with each other and stuff like that too. So
Right. And I love the date night. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit of advice from the mom of 4 boys, you know, raised them for 20 years. And, you know, my oldest is getting married next year. He's 27, I don't know, something like that. But anyway, 26, I think. Anyway, he, you know, the thing is, even when you have kids, you have to have a date night. If you can afford it, get a babysitter and go out every single week. It's very important.
Yeah, it's so funny. My mom tells me that all the time. She was like, just always do it no matter what. Always make time.
Right. Because even if you can't afford it, just get a babysitter and go for a walk or go do something. But, you know, as a successful entrepreneur, the money will never be an issue ever. That doesn't come into our, you know, our sphere, right?
I love that outlook. Yeah.
So you'll be able to go out and go to Abe and Louie's and all the great places.
Yes, I'm in. We'll go together.
Yes, absolutely. That's where to hang. So.
Hey everybody, this is Marco Paulos with Fat Cat Swinger Louie Prima Jr., also known as Marco on Sax, and you're listening to the Steph Show.
Okay, so what I want to do is, you have so much going on with business. I want to hear all about Jay-Z Social Enterprises, what you offer people, businesses, and who's your ideal client. Tell me all about it.
This is really, really good. I'm glad, Steph, because I literally, people ask me all the time, like, you do so much. Like, what can I come to you for, and how can you help me, right? So when I explain to people what I do, I pretty much say in a nutshell that I'm a one-stop shop marketing and advertising. So if you come to me for, if you're looking for PR, because really my main background is PR and events. So my pure enjoyment is to get you in media, is to get you exposure, whether that be on social media, in blogs too, through influencers, all of that. So basically, if you were to come to me, let's use you as an example, right? So you're a public speaker, you're an author. So we would do anything from managing like social media engagement. So basically getting people to go to your events. I help people do that. And then I also would get you on some radio shows, some, you know, TV tours, magazine placements, that kind of stuff. And I really cater to each person I work with.
Right.
And then obviously I do events. So like tonight I have Layla Laura's, she's doing Love Bubbles and Bites. So I help get her targeted clientele to her event. And I think where my specialty is targeting the right clientele to get there.
Right.
Because obviously she has a certain type of clientele. So I want to make sure to meet her needs and not waste her time or the customer's time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I do, because of my event background with my brother, I know how to plan an event, so I can, you know, schedule the venue and get the vendors and all of that stuff.
Right.
So I think where my really niche of what I love doing the most is really allowing people to shine in spotlight. And obviously I now have my own podcast and magazine. So I created these outlets for people that have not really big budgets, but looking for really good exposure in a short period of time.
Right.
So there's like two different ways to work with me. You can work with me on the PR side where I help do your events and help get you media exposure. And even that I include like social media, blogs, and that content. And then the other side of it is to really focus on your spotlight exposure with being in my magazine, on my podcast. And you're in my magazine in December. So we're so excited about that. And you were just on the podcast.
I know.
So it's really, really awesome. I feel like my business is really growing, especially even more on my media side. Like my magazine now is going to be in like dental offices and in airports and stuff like that. So I'm really freaking excited about that.
That is awesome.
I'm like first like announcing this with you because I'm personally working with a car company that is super well connected. He has like private jets throughout the country, and he wants to put my magazines in his areas of his jets and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very excited about that. So that's going to really be a whole new expansion of the brand starting next year.
That is amazing. So are you doing the sales yourself?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's exhausting. But what I'm learning now is like, now that I'm starting to really, because obviously when you get married, your life is on pause. It really, like, your like business life is like, you can keep it running, but only so much.
Yeah. You're treading water.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. Yeah. So now that I have so much more free time, I can start really like, now that my business is doing so much better because I have the time to dedicate, I'm hiring people now because I have the money that I can dedicate to outsource it.
Right. And that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome. You know, one of the, and I'm going to tell you what I've been doing, because I think you'll like this. You know, you have a copy of my book.
Yes.
The Only Way Is Up. So when I get on an airplane, I bring 2 signed copies and I give one to the lead flight attendant and one to the pilot.
I love that.
And they love it. I've gotten an email from a pilot that was he flew my plane from Atlanta to Amsterdam on my way to Dubai. And he was like, this is amazing. And you know what, I mean, and I've gotten so much good feedback from that. It's just been something. So I only say that because you mentioned your magazine being in airports and stuff. And it really is such a great place. And this particular pilot told me he was going to put my book in the pilot lounge.
So freaking awesome.
So, you know, I think that, you know, getting your stuff on an airplane is huge because you're going all over the world. I mean,
yeah. Well, the thing is I was talking about, so my first vision was just to be in like newsstands in the airport. But what you're saying is such a valid point, and somebody else brought that to my attention. When you're on an airplane, you're stuck there. So whatever is in front of you, you're going to read. You're going to look at, you're going to glance at it. So, and it just makes so much sense.
Right. And think about if the person just takes it with them and then leaves it in the hotel.
Right.
In like China.
It's so cool.
Do you know what I mean? It's just, so it's I think it's such a great, I mean, you can't get all over the world like that. So, you know, so quick. I mean, I know using the internet, yes, you can.
It's different. It's so different.
It's very different. So
and I feel like with a book, like just like a magazine, like tangible things in an airplane are so valuable because anybody can read a Kindle or read anything online, you know?
Right.
So.
Right. I think, you know, and especially I know, and you know how impressed I am with the millennials and all of, you know, the younger, your crowd and all of everybody, they're amazing. But for my age group, so say from like 35, 40 up, we all like to have, I want a book, like I want something, you know, I do a lot of audiobooks and whatever, but for the most part, I like to have something. People like to get a press kit. They like to get, you know, things that they can
tangible.
It's because you can just delete an email.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
So it's a lot more effort to throw something away in the garbage, especially if you're paper conscious.
So, right. Good point. Right. You have to be recycling.
Everybody's thinking twice, like, what am I going to do with this? Do I recycle it? Do I just throw it in the garbage? You know, so I think having something in, you know, to hold on to is very important.
I agree.
So you've got, what events do you have coming up?
So I'm launching my magazine next week. So
so
excited.
bad I'm not there.
I know you'll be there in spirit, but so every time I launch a magazine, I have an event around it.
Right.
So December 5th is when I'm launching the magazine, and I have an event around that. So that's what's next.
Right.
And I also have the event on this tonight with Layla Laura for Love Bubbles and Bites.
Right. So, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
So what's coming up for you? What's next?
What's
next for Jen?
I know, right? Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, my goal really is to solidify like how I can really get in more airplanes and more, like that's my next real vision. Cause yes, I have these leads of relationships I have, but how do I grow those leads?
Right.
So I think now this coming year is really going to be more of like building the magazine aspect of it. Like how do I get it in more places? How do I maximize while also being cost effective? Because as a one woman show, unless all my advertising costs are paid for, I can't print the magazines.
Right.
So that's basically like where I'm at. And that's my vision, at least for the magazine side of it.
Right. So what about what's coming up for like more, for, growing the other parts of the business, or are you just focusing on the magazine for the
No, this is a good question. So I'm doing more and more events with Layla Laura. And I told you about her the other day. She's so amazing. So she is a love karma expert, and she helps break down any karmic blockages that you have in your past life and really allows you to shine. Like when she clears those, you clearly have a clear path of everything you need positive to be going in your life. So, and actually because of the clearing that she did, the car driver that I met, that I said about that was going to be my magazines and the private jets and stuff, that's how my relationship really grew with him. After I did work with her, my relationship with him blossomed. So like the possibilities are just like endless, after working with her. So I just wanted to use that as an example because I'm her publicist. So like we're going to be doing more events. She's going to be like moving around more. So that's really awesome. And I also do photo shoots, which I didn't really talk about much, but a lot of people really enjoy, especially if they're redoing their website, they're doing iFund Women, they're rebranding themselves, because I already have the relationships of photographers, makeup artists, all of that. I do have more and more clients now that are hiring me to come in and do a photo shoot video segment session.
Right.
So I did want to put that on the table because it's so valuable. You can repurpose and reuse those video and photos forever.
So you have somebody doing them and editing as well?
Oh, that I'm not doing. I'm just overseeing the whole process.
I know.
Yeah, no, I don't have time. I don't know. I cannot. And plus, that's not my zone of genius. You and I always talk about focus on your zone of genius and leave the rest to the other people that have their zone of genius.
Right. So you're basically you're like all media.
Yeah. I'm like a facilitator.
I love it.
Yeah.
So the magazine's coming out when?
December 5th.
December 5th. And when is it online? December 5th as well?
Yeah, it's December 5th as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's exciting. And then I always have podcasts going on. I try to do them at least three or four times a month. So.
Hey, I'm Mike Marino, and I'm making America Italian again. And you're listening to me on the Just Steph Show.
So, so how else can people find you?
Well, if you just type in Next on Scene on Google.
I know.
Google's amazing. Oh my God. Did you see what Jen Block posted in the community, by the way? What are 3 things? This is a question for you. What are 3 things online that you can't live without if you only had to choose 3 things?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I immediately answered. It was it was Facebook, Instagram, and then there was something else. It was Amazon.
Yeah. Okay. So you live off Amazon?
Well, I do a lot of shopping on Amazon. I do. I
love Amazon too.
Yeah.
I said Google though, because I feel like Google is the entryway to all of these things.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That I didn't really, I saw it and
Amazon's becoming Google. It totally is. I feel like it's on that way into Google. It's just really, really,
it's all going to be one big meld.
I know. No, but I would say that just like honestly going to nextonscene.com, I do have somebody completely revamping my website, and like I'm excited about that because everything's going to become more clear, because right now I'm doing so much and I'm trying to start being selective of what I'm offering.
Right. So who is your ideal client? Who should be contacting you?
This is a really good question. So if you are a startup or a small business that has a platform created, but is ready to take your business to the next level and has money to invest in your marketing and PR, then I would like to be that voice for you.
Right.
So I want to, like, if you haven't even, like, if you're just about ready to get started in your PR, like, I want to be the first person you would go to get you launched.
Right. Yay.
That's my ideal vision. So thank you for that.
And you're on Facebook?
Yes. Facebook at Jackie Zook, ZUK, and also at Next On Scene Media, and also our community. Next On Scene community is so awesome. All the people that have been showcased in all of my media outlets have been clients of mine. I put them all in one hub of
network. Right. That is a great group, and I love it. I think it's great. It's so supportive. I love it. So so you're just everywhere.
That's the goal.
I know you have to be. Don't you think?
You get it. Just like we were saying when we were going to do the Facebook Live, like, can I share it here? Can I share? Like, all you need is one person to watch it in the right area, and they could be a client of yours or bring something valuable to the table. You just never know. Absolutely.
So what do you do for fun?
For fun, I actually really like my job. No, but for fun, I'm trying to make more time to do little getaways and travel more, because I feel like it allows me, when I'm doing that, I completely shut off.
Right.
And I feel like it's really important to shut off
a
couple times a year, because life gets like, it's just the same thing with the relationships in your family life. Like, you have to make time for that. So.
Right. I know you do have to kind of shut down a little bit, and just for a few days and just, log off. Because, I know how you're like me. I'm 24/7.
Exactly.
So even if I'm out sitting at a bar, I'm looking at my phone saying, okay, who's texting me, who's, or whatever, what's going on. Or I need to post this so that they can see Just Steph is feeling groovy and, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's what I'm on 24/7. Right. So, anyway, so that's it, I think. So, okay, here's my last question. And you know this.
I know. I was brainstorming about this.
You know what? And I love this because you know what? It really tells you about the people that you're working with, and especially I like this in my workshops and all of that. If you can invite 7 people from any time period to dinner, who would it be? So there's 8. You're the 8th person. Who would the 7 people be?
So I picked more from like this, I don't know what time period, to be honest. I wrote down my list because I didn't want to forget. Okay. So the first person I put was Oprah, because she does so many amazing things. I'm sure a lot of people can vouch for that. I think she would share a lot of knowledge. Another person I put was Steve Forbes, because I absolutely love how he showcases so many incredible entrepreneurs and Fortune 500 companies. I also wanted to put the editor of Cosmo, because she's also created an incredible brand that's like super, super popular. Andy Cohen, I absolutely love his humor. So how many is that? That's 4. I really would like to meet Tom Brady. So I decided I was going to invite him to the dinner table because he's super successful.
I know. Well, and also, I mean, just a little side note on Tom Brady. He's into like the 4 agreements. He's very zen and just he's got a lot. He's really, he's not your typical, athlete. He's really intellectual. He's very smart. I think, I agree with that.
That's good. I never even knew any of that. I just felt like he's so successful and seems like a humble guy, and I would like him to be at my dinner table. So, okay, so that's 5. I want Derek Jeter because he's been my love, because I'm a New Yorker originally. And I think
whatever.
I know. He's just created an incredible career, So I would want him at my dinner table. And my last person is Jennifer Lopez, because I just feel like she's amazing. She's gorgeous. I want to know all her tips for her skincare.
Yeah.
She's just on my list.
That's awesome. That's great.
Did you like my choices?
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? It's really kind of cool. Like in my workshops, I've had people say Elvis.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really cool. So, you kind of figure out where people are at. I love it. So,
okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, anyway, again, people can Next On Scene magazine. It's that's
social media. Yeah. So it's just Next On Scene, because the podcast and magazine. So Next On Scene Media on Facebook, Next On Scene on Instagram, Twitter, and Jackie Zook on all the same.
Right. Well, will you come back?
Oh my God, I always love coming back. Thank you so much.
You know what I'll do? I'll even change the time to be noon.
Oh my God, yes. No, for you, I'll always come earlier. It's no problem.
All right, so peeps, listen, if you want to get in touch with me, if you want to feel groovy every day through the holidays into the new year, don't make any resolutions. Come to me, Just Steph, and it's juststeph.com, and we can help you feel groovy every day. I've got lots of stuff coming up this year. I've got retreats. I've got workshops. My one-on-one, and I'm going to be launching my my course, 12 Hours to Feel Groovy. Lots of stuff happening with Just Steph and Jackie Zuck, right? I love it. So I hope to see you next week.
Yes. Oh my God, I am. I'm coming to Zeke's. I put it in my calendar.
All right. I love it. Okay. Well, love to Andrew. Wishing you love, balance, and peace. Ciao, ciao, baby.
Thanks for tuning in to the Just Steph Show. I really care about you, your happiness, and helping you make great choices for your life. So tune in next week for more wisdom from me. In the meantime, follow me on my Just Steph Facebook page, on Twitter at Steph Palermo. My Instagram account is JustSteph1, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Steph Palermo. See you next week. Ciao, ciao, baby.